We're recording. All right. Good evening, everybody. This is the public meeting for the water main replacement project along Gregory Boulevard, Ward Parkway to Wornall Road. Do you want to go to the next slide, Davis? A couple of housekeeping items I want to go over. First of all, I'm having some technical difficulties with my camera, so I'm unable to share my screen. But we also will do some introductions here in a little bit. But I just wanted to let everybody know that we are recording this meeting. We have hit record, so the recording of this meeting will be posted on our KC Water website after this meeting. So in a couple of days, you'll see that posted on the website. During this meeting, if you want to ask a question at any time, please feel free to interrupt us and ask your question. There is a raise your hand feature in the conversation tool up within Teams. If you're on the phone, please feel free to just chime in and ask any questions that you have at any point of this meeting. If you still have questions at the conclusion of our presentation, we will have an opportunity for questions at the end. And then we'll also have contact information for Davis, our project manager, and feel free to contact him at any time after the conclusion of this meeting with any additional questions that you have. Next one, Davis. All right, so some quick introductions of our project team tonight. We do have Jeff Martin on the call. He is our Chief Engineering Officer over here at KC Water. Myself, I'm Melanie Jollett. As I mentioned, my camera's acting funny tonight, but I'm the Water Distribution Division Head here at KC Water. Additionally, we have Davis McDonald Macklin. He's our Project Manager here at KC Water. He'll be presenting a little bit later on. We also have our contractor, Leith & Sons. We have both Angie Cumberford, our project manager, and Dave Oshel with us. I'm not sure if Greg Moffin made it on the call. Additionally, part of our project team is Greg Galitzi. He is our resident inspector, so you'll be seeing him day to day along with Leith & Sons during construction of this project. Next slide. So just a quick overview of KC Water. What a lot of people are not aware of is that we are 3 utility service providers. So we do have water, wastewater, and stormwater services that we provide. On the distribution side or the water side, we have 1 treatment plant, 18 pump stations, 2,800 miles of water main, which we're going to be talking about tonight, 35,000 valves, 23,000 fire hydrants, just a pretty robust distribution system that we have. Additionally, we have a wastewater collection system. That includes 6 wastewater treatment plants, 39 pump stations, 2,800 miles of sewer main, and 67,000 manholes. We also provide stormwater utility services. This includes 630 miles of storm sewer throughout the city, and it includes 53,000 storm inlets, 15 stormwater pump stations, and 13.5 miles of levee. So what people don't realize is we are the 3 utility service provider, and we work in conjunction with all 3 utilities to make sure we're providing safe drinking water and collecting and disposing of our wastewater appropriately. Next slide. So really quickly, a quick overview of the water main replacement program, which is what this public meeting is regarding as a project within our water main replacement program. As I mentioned, we do have 2,800 miles of water mains throughout our distribution system. Some of our mains date back to the 1800s. So we do have some old aging infrastructure within our city. This is not unique to Kansas City, aging infrastructure, but it is a nationwide challenge. So a lot of utilities face the same challenges that we have. What is unique to KC Water is we developed a water main replacement program about 8 years ago, I think around 2014. And the goal of this program is to replace 1% of our infrastructure, of our water infrastructure every year. That equates to about 28 miles every year of water distribution pipes that we are replacing. As I mentioned, we are in our 8th year, and to date, we've replaced more than 200 miles of distribution pipe. So we are seeing some great success within this program. Next slide. How do we pick the projects that we include, or the segments that we include in our projects within the water main replacement program? What we have here is within KC Water is we have a pretty robust risk assessment that we go through every year. And basically the risk assessment is based off of likelihood of failure and consequence of failure criteria. So we've gone through and looked at every segment of pipe that we have, and we've looked at age of pipe, and we've looked at material pipe. We've looked at number of breaks and a plethora of other criteria to determine likelihood and consequence of failure. From those criteria, we're able to establish a risk score on each segment within our distribution system. Once the risk is identified, we're able to develop projects. And so every year we pick the highest 28 miles of the highest risk pipes, and we develop them into multiple projects every fiscal year. Each of these projects are designed to have new ductile iron zinc coated mains. The mains are also wrapped in a polyethylene sleeve. And what this does is it really provides about a 100-year design life for our new infrastructure that we're designing. From design, we also then go into construction, which is what we're talking about tonight. What we're going to talk about tonight is the construction phase of this project. The long-term infrastructure plan replacing the infrastructure that we have, this will reduce service interruptions to our customers because we should see less breaks. We will reduce costs because there will be less maintenance costs that we incur. And then we'll also be able to increase capacity and fire protection to our customers. Next slide, Davis. And with that, I'm going to turn it over to Davis, our project manager, and he's going to go into the specifics on this project that we're talking about tonight.
All right. Good evening, everyone, or good morning, whenever you're watching this video. Tonight, we're talking about the water main replacement project along with Gregory Boulevard. It's going to be between Ward Parkway and Wornall Road. So relatively short segment of pipe there, but got a whole lot of services on this project, so that's going to be one of the factors. And then it's that area near Wornall and Gregory got some businesses, so it's kind of a heavily tracked area, so that's something that we're going to be mindful of. But here's your project limits, kind of what to expect. Whole lot of words. Feel free to take a look at it later, but this is more or less kind of giving you a breakdown of what you're going to see out in the field and how you may be affected. So let me mute everybody here. All right. So initially, what's going to happen is there's going to be some setup where you might see material arriving. There's going to be some traffic control, so street cones and road signs, and then you'll start seeing the utilities being marked out, so spray paint on the sidewalks, spray paint on the streets. Once that happens, saw cutting will happen, so it'll start getting kind of messy and look more like a construction site. The contractor will pothole, confirm that the water main is where we think it is, and where the proposed water main is going to go, confirm that alignment's going to work. Then once that gets established, construction will actually start. So they'll start tearing into the street to install the new water main. After that, there will be a temporary service connection. So that'll be one scheduled outage. And then once that water main gets approved, once that water main gets tied in and approved for service, they will begin transferring services. So there could be some minor outages when they take your service from the old main and put it on the new main. And then once all the services are transferred, they'll make the final connection at the other end of the project. So there's at least going to be 3 scheduled outages for those tie-ins and the service transfers. But then there's also some side streets along Gregory that will be some additional scheduled outages. So that's just going to kind of be up to how the contractor phases their work. They might be able to get multiple connections in one day, or it might be 3 to 4 additional scheduled outages. Ideally, those are going to last about 4 hours or less, hopefully. No one's going to be left without water overnight, and you will receive 48-hour notice of any sort of scheduled outages. Just keep in mind that sometimes when we're excavating, the existing main might break, which is why we're replacing this main, because there's been a lot of breaks reported. So there could be some unscheduled outages, but again, we will try to minimize the impact there. You just won't get that 48-hour notice because it wasn't scheduled. Let's see, what else could I share in here? So on this project, everyone's going to get new meters. I think everyone's got water meters in their basements. Those will be moved out of your home, and you'll get a new meter out in your front yard. So we will be tearing your yard up a little bit, but once all the services transfer, all that water main has been installed, that's when the surface restoration portion of the work will occur. And based on when our project's starting here, we shouldn't have any delays due to weather, unless it's too hot to seed or sod. And then we'll also restore the driveways or any sort of sidewalks or the roadway once all that water main has been installed. And then last but not least, I think this is the big one. Your ordinary travel routes are going to be impacted. So, if you live on that street, clearly you're going to be able to get to your house. Either they'll plate your driveway or, make sure that they're done with the work so people can enter their property. But also just if, say, you frequent that street, it might be a good idea to follow the detour signs. But again, we'll be working during the day, trying to minimize everyone's day-to-day lives as much as possible, and we'll try to coordinate with you as far as any sort of scheduled outages. But just keep in mind that you will be impacted by this project. So feel free to either reach out to me or the contractor if there's any specific concerns, and we can definitely work together to get this project done. Again, this is kind of showing, this is more than likely where everyone's water meters are down the basement of their homes. We'll be moving those outside of your home into the yard. But I also like this illustration because it's showing the responsibility of the customer versus KC Water. So in this case, we're just going to be replacing the water main, and where the customer's responsibility starts and KC Water's responsibility ends is at the curb stop. So that's typically in between the sidewalk and the roadway. That's where that responsibility ends. And then just for fun, I like throwing it on here, the sewer lateral and sewer main, because it is different. The customer's responsibility for the sewer lateral that stops where it ties into the sewer main, and then KC Water is responsible for the sewer main. So that's a fun little infographic there. But that's kind of what to expect as far as us relocating your water meters from inside your home to outside your home. On here, this is kind of a quick and dirty as far as who's going to be a part of this project, what we're looking at for schedule. So as far as the schedule, we waited a few weeks just to make sure that Leaf and Sons was fully prepared to start this project. So on your mailers, I think it was showing December. We're planning on starting in about a month, and most of the work's going to be done probably by August. But then any sort of like restoration or smaller items might take between August and October. In order to maybe take a look at this project or any of our other projects, you can follow this link here, kcwater.us/project/current projects. A lot of good information on there. So if you know anybody that was unable to make this meeting, they'll be able to access this recording as well as any other projects that they may be interested in. And then just to reiterate, Angie Cumberford, she's going to be the project manager for Leaf and Sons. I will be the project manager for KC Water. And then out in the field, it will be Greg Gillespie for the inspector. And then Greg Moppin will be the superintendent. So feel free to use any of us as a resource. If there's anything, any sort of questions anybody has, feel free to reach out to me or anybody else on the project team. And that's everything on that sheet. That's pretty much it. We're trying to be mindful of everybody's time. If anybody on the call has any questions, I'd be more than happy to answer them. Or Melanie or Jeff, if there's anything that I missed, feel free to chime in, and I can either correct myself or add more information.
Thanks, Davis. I'm looking in the meeting chat right now. I'm not seeing any questions that have popped up in the chat. I think you covered everything. I can't think of anything else that we need to add. So we'll just, can you put the contact slide back up so we have contact information up there?
Absolutely.
And we'll just, anybody on the call, are there any questions for Davis or myself?
Hey, everybody, this is Angie Cumberford. My phone number is incorrect, so I don't know whose number that is.
Oh, I didn't get it updated.
No.
Let's see. All right, let me change that real quick. Thank you so much, Miss Angie. And then usually, Angie, I ask where you guys are going to start first, because there's usually multiple segments. But have you guys thought much about phasing or sequencing when it comes to this and all the side connections or anything?
No, not yet.
Okay. Completely fair. Well, if anybody, I'm sure we can probably sort that out once we get to the public or the pre-construction meeting. But I figured that was just something that I typically try to ask.
Sure.
Is there anything that is on your mind that you feel like sharing? Anything that maybe I missed?
No, I had trouble getting in. It said I was going to be let in, so I missed like the first 5 minutes. So I don't know what was discussed then, but
No, not
I don't,
much.
Okay.
Yeah. More or less just telling people what to expect. Just reminding them that they got to have 48-hour notice, and there's at least going to be 3 scheduled outages, but there might be more depending on how those side streets get tied in.
Okay.
But yeah, looking really excited for this project. Hopefully everybody else is as well. If nobody's got any questions, I feel like someone should pull me off stage, because I'll keep talking. But thanks so much, Miss Angie, and yeah.
I will say
else.
real fast, Dave. If anybody's on the phone, we did mute everyone due to this background noise. So *6 should unmute you if you're on the phone and you have any questions.
That's a good point, Jeff.
I think you must have covered it all, Davis.
I think so
Hey,
too.
When you're good,
All right.
you're good.
So with that, I want to thank everybody for attending. As Davis mentioned, please go to the website if there's anything else you want to revisit, or please reach out to Angie or Davis if you have any additional questions. So thank you, everybody. We appreciate it. Have a good evening.
All right. Thanks.
Thank you.
Have a good evening.
Bye.